Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to CIET NCERT's live phone-in interactive program. My name is Tanvi Khurana and in this English class for all the 4th class children, we are here with the topic unit number 5, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. So this is written by a very famous author and I'm sure you all know who that is. But who that person is and if we are talking about who exactly, which personality is this, whom are we referring to? That is what we are going to discuss in this particular program. And if you have any questions, any queries about this chapter or about the famous personalities we are talking about, then reach out to us. Give us a call on our number which is 8800440559. If you want to email us your queries, email ID would be dth.class4@ciet.nic.in. At this moment, you're watching us on our YouTube channel, which is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can write down your questions, your queries, and share them with us. So we have a lot of time to discuss this particular chapter, and let me please introduce to you our guest for this program, and she is Mrs. Manju Pindharkar. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am. So, ma'am
is in... start, Tanvi?
Ma'am, let me introduce you and then we'll begin. Ma'am is an ex-teacher from Army Public School, Pune, Maharashtra, and she'll be talking about this chapter. But before we begin this discussion, let me just tell you an important announcement regarding India's G20 presidency. Well, we are extremely proud of the fact that India assumed G20 presidency and would convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country this year. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history as it seeks to play an important role by finding global pragmatic solutions for the well-being of all and in doing so manifest its true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or should I say the world is one family. With that, let's just begin this program and let me ask ma'am, what is this chapter all about? Who is the author and whom are we referring to? Ma'am, over to you.
A very good afternoon, all the students and viewers who are seeing this program. Dear Tanvi, you have asked a very apt question. The title says, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and Helen Keller. But let me tell you, in the NCERT book in Unit 5 for Class 4 English, it's a combination. The unit is a combination of prose as well as poetry. Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is a poem written by a very famous author, one of my favorite, Mr. Ruskin Bond. Later on, the unit continues with a very inspirational story of Helen Keller. So what it is all teaching you all, my dear students, let's go deep into the unit, which begins with the poem, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. But as I just mentioned, the lesson even unfolds an inspirational story about Helen Keller. So much to learn from her life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, who was Helen Keller? Let's see that. Helen Adams Keller was an American author, political activist, and lecturer. She was the first deaf-blind person to earn a Bachelor of Arts degree. And what hurdles she had to face in becoming such an exponent in this field, we all will be knowing through the chapter. But as there is some time constraint, I cannot cover the entire chapter in one session. But still, as I told you, her story is extremely inspirational for all of us. As the very name Helen Keller and her work is significant, she was born back on June 20th, 1850. When she was just 19 months old, she became deaf and blind due to an illness. Even with her condition, she grew up and managed to courageously face the world with her desire to enhance the lives of other people who are also suffering the same conditions as her. So this is the base of the chapter unit number 5. But as I just mentioned you, today I'm going to cover the first part of Unit 5, that's a poem by Ruskin Bond. And who was Ruskin Bond? Let's know little more about the poet. Ruskin Bond was born on May 19, 1934 in Kasoli Hills, Punjab, India. He earned his bachelor's degree from Bishop Collins School in Shimla, and he has lived in Lander area ever since 1962. He is an Indian author of British descent. He is regarded as an icon amongst Indian authors and prominent novelist. So children, Ruskin Bond is a person who is worldwide known for writing stories and poems. And today I'm going to cover one of his poems, which is in your NCERT book. Unit 5 begins with that. Don't be afraid of the dark. As the title expresses, most of the children are very, very afraid of the dark. They feel scared in the night, and which is a very common phenomena. Don't be ashamed of accepting this truth that you also feel afraid of the dark. And I'm very sure all the children who are viewing this program will agree to it. And not only the children who are viewing the program, even at this age, let me confess, when I was a child of your age, my dear students, even I used to be extremely afraid of the dark. And my bedroom in my ancestral home was pretty away from the washroom. These days, the flats are manufactured in that way that the toilets, the washroom are very closely located next to the bedroom. But in my days, when I was a child, the washroom was very, very far off. And even I used to feel extremely afraid to visit the washroom in the night. I used to ask my grandmom to accompany me, to be with me, so that I used to feel some strength till I reached the washroom. And Tanvi ma'am, did you also feel ever afraid of the dark?
Yes, ma'am. Sometimes when I watch horror movies, after that, I feel really afraid of the dark, but otherwise, I'm okay.
Exactly. I know as you grow up, you become courageous. And
Yes.
that's why I'm telling you, children, there shouldn't be any reason for to feel afraid of the dark. But we all feel, especially as a child. Don't be afraid of the dark, little one. The earth must rest when the day is done. The sun must be harsh, but moonlight never. And those stars will be shining forever and ever. Ruskin Bond so nicely has penned down these lines, telling all the students of class 4 age group not to feel afraid of the dark because the day is also finishing and the entire earth is taking a nap, the night nap, because night is the time when we all have to give rest to our mind and body. And one should never feel afraid of the stars and the moon and the moonlight. In fact, the stars and the moon are so beautiful to gaze. Have you ever seen the stars in the night? If you have never seen the stars in the night, I request you all to go out. If you feel afraid, go out with your parents or elder brother and sister and do look towards the sky. I'm sure you are going to enjoy the sight. So children, the poet is requesting all the children never be afraid of the dark. The poet explains the reason and wants to go ahead and says, be friends with the night. There is nothing to fear. Just let your thoughts travel to friends far and near. By day, it does seem that our troubles won't ease. But at night, late at night, the world is at peace. Children, as I told you, during night, we all take a huge nap. We sleep, and sleep is really, really needed so that we get rejuvenated, full of energy to face the world, to do our tasks, to study next day. And the poet says, be friends with the night. Nothing to feel scared. Night is as beautiful as the day is. There is nothing to fear. Just let your thoughts travel to friends far and near. The way we travel when we go to the friends who are living far away or to the relatives we feel so excited to travel to. So the poet is telling you all to travel in your thoughts and think about, imagine about the good times which you may be spending with your friends who are far and who are near. By day, it does seem that our troubles won't cease. Children, during the daytime, because of the sunlight, the bright day, we don't feel scared. We don't feel scared at all. But in the night, we all feel scared, and especially small children. We are scared of falling down. We are scared of many things, imaginary things. As child, I'm sure you all are extremely excited to read the stories related to ghosts. And because of that, you feel unnecessarily scared of such things in the night because it's so dark outside. But the poet is telling you not to feel scared because the nights are as beautiful as the day. This is the beginning of Unit 5. Be friends with the night. Children, remember this. This is the moral of this poem. The poet is telling you all to embrace the night time, to feel, not to feel scared, feel courageous, feel as confident, feel as if you are having all the strength even in the night. And the new words that you have just read are afraid, dark, rest, harsh, forever, troubles, and cease. Children, I expect you all to write down these difficult words, the new words that you have just read in your classwork notebook at least 5 times. The more you will write, you will remember the spellings of these words. Reading is fun. It actually is. And there are so many questions like who's the poem? What's the poem all about? What happens when the day is over? What does the earth do when the day is over? And what does the poet want us to do at night? These are the questions. I expect you all to write the answers in your own words, in your own simple words. I have given you some sample answers. For example, the first question is, what is the poem about? And I have given you the answer. The poem is about children's fear of darkness of the night and the ways to overcome the fear. I told you, if you feel fear, if you feel scared, you can ask somebody in the family to accompany you as the way I used to when I was of your age. And first of all, be courageous. Do not feel scared and be friend to the night. Go out, look towards the moon and the stars. I'm sure you will be really fascinated with the sight. It's a beautiful sight. What happens when the day is over? When the day is over, darkness spreads everywhere. It's a natural phenomenon. The room and the stars, the moon and stars start shining in the sky. And children, God has made sun for the day and moon for the night. Of course, the light of the moon is lesser than the sunlight, but like today is Phagun Purnima, I'm very sure when you will go out, it will be a beautiful sight to see. What does the earth do when the day is over? The earth takes rest when the day is over. Yes, we all living beings take rest. It is very much needed. Rest is needed physically as well as mentally. So the body needs rest, the mind needs rest. What does the poet want us to do at night? The poet wants us to be friendly with night and think about our friends and relatives who are far and near. So children, if you also do this trick, you will not feel scared at all during night. Now children, this is the activity which is already there in your textbook. You have to read and write true or false. For example, the poet tells us to be scared, afraid when it is dark. The poet says that stars will always shine at night. The poet tells the child to think of friends after it is dark. All these three, you have to pick up whether it's a true statement or it is false. And the answers are A, false, B, true, and C, true. For example, the B is the poet says that stars will always shine at night. The answer is true. The poet tells the child to think of friends after it is dark, and the answer is true. Now, children, word building. There are two different words. When you join them, you get another word. Tanvi ma'am, if I ask you, if you join moon and light, both are two different words. But the moment you join these two words, do you think you will get one word?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And what will be the answer?
Moonlight.
Absolutely. Moon plus light, you get moonlight. Good and night, good night. Water and fall, waterfall. Break and fast, breakfast. Day and break, daybreak. And rain and bow, rainbow. So children, this is a world building activity. You will have to write the answers in your notebook and try to be very, very particular while writing the spellings. Find a word in the poem which is the opposite of war, enemies, gentle, light, night, and start. I have already given you the answers. War, peace, light, dark, enemies, friends, night, day, gentle, harsh, start, seeds. So children, you have to write these opposites right at the given space. Now children, this is also an activity given in your textbook. Now write the full forms of the following word. Children, don't, when you put an apostrophe, you know, didn't, D-I-D-N apostrophe T, didn't, and write the full forms, did not. For example, when you write don't with an apostrophe, the answer in full form will be two words, do and not. When you combine it with an apostrophe, it becomes don't. Won't, the words are will and not. When you combine it with an apostrophe, you get won't. For example, didn't, did not. Shouldn't, should not. Won't, would not. Couldn't, could not. And mustn't, must not. So remove the apostrophe and make full form. Like I told you, didn't, did not. So this is the activity I expect you all to write in your classwork notebook. Now look at these words of the poem. Don't, won't, here are the full forms. I just told you, didn't, did not, shouldn't, should not, won't, would not, couldn't, could not, mustn't, must not. Remove the apostrophe, you get two words. Are you afraid of the dark? Why? What do you do when it's dark? Have you ever been very frightened? Tell your partner about it. This is an interactive activity, children, and I have selected some answer. Are you afraid of the dark? Why? Yes, I'm afraid of the dark because I fail to see anything in the darkness. When children do not see anything in the dark, they feel very scared. That's why in many households, Tanvi ma'am, even in my own house, I put a small night lamp so that when in the night you get up, suppose you want to visit the washroom, you feel like drinking water from the water bottle, which is very close to your bed, still you feel very scared. So it's better to have a night lamp because we all are very, very scared of falling down. What do you do when it is dark? I lie down on my bed and think about my friends. That's the best idea, children. Have you ever been very frightened? Tell your partner about it. I was sitting alone in my room. Suddenly, my elder brother entered the room wearing a mask of a ghost. He stood in front of me and started laughing horribly like, ho, 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 ho. I cried loudly in great fear. I can't forget that moment. So this is my experience, children. I expect you all to write the experience when you felt frightened and either explain it in words, but I expect you to write it down so that it can reach me. Now, what is the word that starts with T? And you have to really make it playful and make fun of, like tease. What is the word that starts with C, rhymes with near and tear? That means easy to see, and it's clear. Where did the tip of the tongue touch when you are pronouncing these words, tease or clear? When you pronounce, this is the phonetic part. What did the tip of the tongue touch? It touches the teeth, nid. Like when you pronounce, what tip of the tongue it is touching, you have to explain. Listen and repeat. Can, for, and you have to do it yourself. Did you hear the K sound at the end of the word book? Yes, repeat. Book, look, neck, duck, chick, sack, and clock. When you are pronouncing these words, the sound of K is very, very prominent. All these words start with the same sound. Kangaroo, curtain, though it doesn't start with K, it starts with C. King, key, kind, and kitten. All these words are starting with the same sound. That is K sound. Though children, I'm repeating, the word curtain does not start with the alphabet K. Rest all start with the alphabet K. What are the things that may happen if there is no sunlight? Discuss with the group and write your ideas in your notebook. As I told you, there will be complete darkness if there is no sunlight. So early in the morning, if you see sun god, please do this because we are grateful to the sun god. Because of that, we get ready for the whole day, and sunlight plays a very important role in our lives. Discuss with the group and write your ideas in your notebook. You have to, children, do it yourself. Now, children, these are the two cups, the pink and the yellow. Two, the same similar sounding words, but the spelling is different, so is the meaning. One, O-N-E-one, another one, W-O-N-one, when you have the victory. Dear and dear, D-E-A-R. It's similar sounding word, but having different spellings. S-O-N, son. Like a father is having a son, but S-U-N, son. I saw sun in the morning. So similar sounding words having different meaning and different spellings.
Absolutely. Ma'am, we don't have any more time left, but we can see that there are so many exercises through which the students can add to their vocabulary, and even pronunciation will get a lot more clear if they'll pronounce these words. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of this program, and you explained this prose so beautifully, and we just enjoyed it a lot. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you to all the viewers for being a part of this program. It was amazing, and if you, in case you didn't watch this program, then watch it on NCRT Official. That is our YouTube channel. And upcoming next program is our webinar, a series on the journey of National ICT Awardee teachers. So stay here and keep on watching eVidya channels. Thank you so much. I am Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you. Namaskar.